A developer runs npm install. They do not open the application, they do not execute the package, they simply install their dependencies. But before the installation finishes, one dependency runs a hidden script, steals credentials from the machine, and uses those credentials to poison more npm packages. That is not ordinary malware. That is a software supply chain worm. The first confirmed malicious release was Keyv version 6.0.0. Keyv is a legitimate JavaScript package used for key value storage. Many developers may not install it directly. It can appear several levels deep inside a project's dependency tree through tools such as caching libraries and ESLint-related packages. The attacker made only a few important changes. They added 2 files and inserted this command into package.json, preinstall :node setup.mjs. A preinstall script can run automatically during npm install when lifecycle scripts are permitted. The clever part was that Keyv's normal compiled library code remained unchanged. After installation, the package could continue working exactly as expected. Nothing immediately crashed, and the malicious changes were small enough to be easily missed during a quick review. The first stage script checked whether the bun runtime was installed. When bun was missing, the malware downloaded bun version 1.3.13 from bun's real GitHub releases page. It then used bun to execute a much larger, heavily obfuscated payload. That matters because the initial download came from GitHub, not an obviously suspicious malware domain. Security tools looking only for strange servers or unexpected node processes could miss the activity. Once running, the payload started hunting for secrets. It searched for NPM and GitHub tokens, AWS credentials, GCP service account keys, Azure secrets, Kubernetes service account tokens, Vault tokens, database connection strings, and private keys. Inside GitHub Actions runners, it could also scan process memory for secrets available to the runner. So even credentials that were hidden from logs could still be exposed if the runner itself held them. But credential theft was only the beginning. The payload contained machinery for checking which NPM identity it had stolen, finding every package that identity could publish, downloading those packages, inserting the same malicious files, increasing their version numbers, and publishing the poisoned versions back to NPM. This is what turns the attack into a worm. One infected environment can expose a publishing token. That token provides access to more packages. Those packages infect more developer machines or CI systems, potentially exposing even more publishing credentials. The exact initial entry point remains unknown, but the decoded publishing code and the rapid bursts across unrelated organizations strongly support automated, token-driven propagation. SafeDep's registry-backed investigation counted 1,684 poisoned versions across 420 package names connected to 9 organizations. According to its timeline, the campaign moved from one organization to another every 2 to 7 minutes and completed the cross-organization publishing burst in roughly half an hour. Those numbers count malicious package versions, not 1,684 infected computers. The number of machines that actually downloaded and executed the payload is still unknown. The Keyv repository also contained a second attack path. A Claude Code configuration included a SessionStart hook, while a VS Code task was configured with run on, folder open. Both pointed to local copies of the malware loader. This meant a developer examining the cloned repository could potentially trigger the payload without running npm install. These hooks were not guaranteed to execute in every environment. VS Code has workspace trust protections, and Claude Code also applies trust controls to project settings. But once the project was trusted and its configuration permitted, the repository itself became another execution route. Then comes one of the most important details. The poisoned Keyv release had valid supply chain provenance. Its official GitHub Actions workflow built and published the malicious source, so the resulting attestation was genuine. The system correctly proved which workflow created the package. It simply could not prove that the source entering that workflow was safe. A valid signature can prove origin and integrity. It does not automatically prove that the signed code is harmless. The malware also installed something even more dangerous: a token revocation watcher. It repeatedly checked whether the stolen GitHub token still worked. When the token was revoked and began returning an error, the watcher could execute an attacker-supplied command. That means the normal first reaction, rotate every credential immediately, could trigger another payload. Researchers, therefore, recommend first isolating the affected machine and removing the watcher, then rotating credentials from a known clean system. The specific command supplied during the Keyv incident was not publicly established, but the mechanism allowed arbitrary local execution. Developers should inspect exact package versions inside lock files, because checking the version currently marked latest is not enough. Registry tags changed throughout the incident, and a log file may still contain a malicious version, even after NPM restores a clean release as the default. Any workstation or CI runner that installed an affected version and allowed its installation script to run should be treated as compromised. Teams should also disable unnecessary dependency scripts, restrict NPM publishing tokens, use isolated CI runners, and review changes to package.json, .vscode, .claude, and workflow files. The real target here was not one JavaScript library. It was the trust-connecting package registries, developer machines, CI pipelines, source repositories, and AI coding tools. And once that trust was stolen, the attack used legitimate developer infrastructure to spread itself.